Batman, Bruce Wayne. Batman is the superhero protector of Gotham City, a tortured, brooding vigilante dressed as a bat who fights against evil and strikes fear into the hearts of criminals everywhere. In his public identity, he is Bruce Wayne, a billionaire industrialist and notorious playboy. Although he has no superhuman abilities, he is one of the world's smartest men and greatest fighters. His physical prowess, technical ingenuity, and tactical thinking make him an incredibly dangerous opponent. He is also a founding member of the Justice League. Early life. Bruce Wayne was born to wealthy physician Dr. Thomas Wayne and his wife Martha, who were themselves members of the prestigious Wayne and Kane families of Gotham City, respectively. When he was 3, Bruce's mother Martha was expecting a second child to be named Thomas Wayne, Jr. However, because of her intent to find a school for the underprivileged in Gotham, she was targeted by the manipulative Court of Owls, who arranged for her to have a car accident. She and Bruce survived, but the accident forced Martha into premature labor, and the baby was lost. While on vacation to forget about these events, the Wayne family butler, Jarvis Pennyworth, was killed by one of the Court of Owls' talons. A letter he'd written to his son Alfred, warning him away from the beleaguered Wayne family, was never delivered. As such, Alfred, who had been an actor at the Globe Theatre at the time and a military medic before that, traveled to Gotham City to take up his father's place, serving the Waynes as butler. As he grew older, his family's reputation made Bruce restless, and he began sneaking out of school to visit Gotham City, where he wouldn't be so easily recognized. On one such outing, when he was 10 years old, he was picked up by Officer Jim Gordon and his partner on their patrol. En route back to the station, Bruce witnessed Jim accepting a trench coat as a bribe from a tailor, though neither realized it was a bribe at the time, but Bruce would remember it as an indicator of Jim's character. After his parents picked Bruce up at the police station, the Waynes went to see The Mark of Zorro at the Monarch Theater. When the Waynes were walking home after the movie, a mugger named Joe Chill attempted to rob them at gunpoint, and panicked, shooting both Thomas and Martha dead. Later childhood. Following his parents' deaths, Bruce attempted to commit suicide with a razor blade. However, just before he went through with it, he realized that this wasn't what his parents would want, and it was at that moment Bruce vowed to spend the rest of his life warring on crime. Bruce became obsessed with the search for meaning in the loss of his parents. He thought perhaps the mythical Court of Owls was responsible, but he never found anything to prove it. Shortly after their deaths, Bruce became obsessed with using toy guns and killing the man who murdered his parents. Because of this, Alfred sent Bruce to an Arkham Boys rehabilitation home upstate where he first met Harvey Dent. The boys became good friends but wouldn't realize their identities until years later. In his youth, Bruce attended Gotham Academy. It was there that he dated Julie Madison, but his psychological issues with his parents' deaths ultimately led to the end of their relationship. One day, he was asked by a professor to answer a problem involving a projectile being fired at a target. This triggered Bruce to answer the question by burning the answer on the professor's front yard. Bruce was later expelled from Gotham Academy and began attending Roxbury Fielding Academy. Troubled by grief, Bruce found that he couldn't function the way he was, so he hired a homeless man to pretend to be Alfred to approve of the paperwork so that Bruce could erase his memory with electroshock therapy, but chose not to go through with it, and to use his pain as a motivator. At the age of 18, he used his relationship with Erin McKillen, a daughter of the Irish mob, and with whom he attended Roxbury Academy, to locate Joe Chill, and learned that he had simply needed the money, and there was no deeper meaning to his parents' deaths. During his final year as a student, Bruce participated in at least one underground fight and dated a young woman named Dana, who talked him out of becoming a police officer, noting how unsuited to the job he would be, and encouraged him to think on a larger scale. He was also psychoanalyzed by Dr. Hugo Strange, who he exposed as a fraud. Travels and training. Fueled by the loss of his parents, Bruce began a global sojourn. He began in Paris, briefly training with the world's best fencer. He would best said swordsperson after 2 weeks of training. Sometime later, Bruce encountered the Grey Shadow, a French cat burglar of high renown. Though he initially intended to turn the Shadow in, after some conversation and consideration, and no small amount of teasing, he became her protégé. In the process of his training, the pair would rob the CEO of Sunrise Oil, Hubert Glonet, unaware that Hubert was the notorious serial killer known to the French public as the Foundling. Bruce developed feelings for the Shadow, culminating in a kiss. However, the Shadow, who shared his attraction, rejected him as too young. Moments later, the pair would be interrupted by notorious manhunter Henri Ducard, who was hired by Alfred Pennyworth to track Bruce down. The trio worked together to take down the Foundling. They were successful, but the confrontation resulted in Henri becoming hospitalized. For his own good, the Shadow fired Bruce, though they parted amicably. Bruce then approached Henri, seeking to learn the art of manhunting from the prolific manhunter. He accepted, and Bruce became his assistant. Bruce also became close training partners with Ducard's son, Morgan. However, when Bruce discovered that Henri often killed his targets, he left. This caused Henri to send Morgan after him, but Bruce managed to defeat him, throwing him into Henri's office. One of his earliest stops was in Tibet, where he trained in martial arts and sword fighting under Shaolin monks. Bruce studied under Giovanni Zatara in Las Vegas, struggling to master the basic precepts of stage magic. During this period, he became very close with Giovanni's daughter, Zatanna, with the pair striking up an attraction. Hoping to impress Bruce, Zatanna introduced Bruce to real, arcane magic. However, Zatara disagreed with this choice, and erased the memory of this discovery from Bruce's mind. After 2 months of searching, Bruce arrived at the dojang of Master Kirigi on Paektu Mountain in North Korea. He was wordlessly denied entry by a sentry, who shoved him to the ground. Over the next few nights, this process repeated violently until finally he was allowed entry. While training under Kirigi, he became acquainted with another acolyte of Kirigi's, one who identified himself as Anton. They bonded over their shared desire to fight criminals, despite their differing motivations. Anton and Bruce, going by Jack, spent almost a year atop Paektu Mountain training under Kirigi. Shortly after the arrival of a new crop of aggressive, belligerent students sent by a benefactor of Kirigi's, Bruce left, leaving his training under Kirigi technically incomplete as a result of his refusal to learn the lethal, vibrating palm technique. On his way down the mountain, Bruce was attacked by these new students, assassins in training. Alone, he fought valiantly, but was on the verge of being overwhelmed until Anton arrived, and together, they fought off the attackers and resolved to train together moving forward. At the age of 19, Anton and Bruce learned how to race cars in life-or-death situations from Brazilian criminal, Don Miguel. While there, his brake lines were cut, an action he later suspected was the handiwork of his cohort. Bruce himself tricked Don Miguel into getting captured by police during his final lesson. Soon afterward, Bruce and Anton were apprehended in Moscow after staking out an FSB office trying to locate Avery Oblonsky, an ex-KGB freelance operative, and held in prison for 14 days. During their escape from imprisonment, it was revealed that the warden who had been keeping them captive was, in fact, a disguised Oblonsky, who agreed to train the pair in the art of disguise and manipulation. In the process, Wayne's true identity was revealed to a surprised Anton. After training with Oblonsky, Bruce and Anton traveled to the wilds of northern British Columbia, hunting down the world's greatest marksman, Luca Jungo, also known as the Swiss Mark. The pair trained under Luca for several months. In the process, Luca made the pair that they would swear to never use firearms against other people. Luca, unsettled by Anton's behavior, confronted him, proclaiming him a killer. The confrontation resulted in Luca's death at Anton's hands, and the pair became very aware of the gulf between their motivations, coming to blows. Despite having a gun to Bruce's head, Anton could not bring himself to shoot Bruce, and parted ways. He was also trained in stealth by an unnamed master in the Hida Mountains, in Japan. At age 21, Bruce studied the ins and outs of technological gadgetry under the guidance of the brilliant inventor, Sergei Alexandrov. At the age of 22, Bruce traveled to the Himalayas to train with Shirhan Matsuda, who taught him to fight with the katana. He soon struck up a romance with the sword sharpener's daughter, Mio. Matsuda warned him against creating personal ties with others, and to embrace his darker side. Matsuda's wife, though, encouraged it, and because of Bruce's feelings for her, he inadvertently let an assassin into the Matsuda household. In the following course of events, Bruce discovered that Mio had been hired by Matsuda's wife to seduce him and then kill Matsuda. Both women and Matsuda himself were gravely injured, but before he died, Matsuda warned him that death is what would come of fostering close personal relationships. At age 24, Bruce was training in Norway, and after 28 hours of fighting a new opponent each hour, Bruce's determination struck fear into all the Queen's men. Bruce spent time with a nomadic people in the Nigerian desert enduring grueling training. It was during this time that Alfred attempted to contact him, but when Bruce received the phone call, he couldn't bring himself to answer. Sometime during his time abroad, Bruce also trained with Chu Chin Lee and Tsunetomo, two martial arts masters in the Far East, and was also arrested for illegal base jumping at Meru Peak. He was also, at some point, trained by expert boxer and former JSA member, Ted Grant. Towards the end of his travels, Bruce returned to study under Zatara once more. Over the course of his renewed studies, Bruce and Zatanna encountered a demon known as Shantaz, a being that would escape hell every 20 years to feast on the souls of those with broken hearts. This time, when the secret of genuine magic was revealed to Bruce, he was allowed to remember, and together the pair was eventually able to defeat the demon by using Bruce's trauma as bait. Despite the temptation, Bruce decided against learning true magic, unwilling to pay the price it would exact on his soul. During this time, Bruce and Zatanna became inadvertently bonded through a miscast spell, and would spend the next few decades having regular meetings in order to contain the arcane chaos their mistake wrought. Throughout Bruce's training, he constantly crossed paths Minkoa Khan, the man he knew as Anton. Bruce and the man who would become Ghostmaker became rivals, having fought on a few occasions due to their differing opinions on killing criminals. They crossed paths while seeking training in Dublin, Metropolis, and Morocco. In Morocco, Khan killed their mentor Wabi, ostensibly in self-defense, like he did Luca. Bruce continued his travels, making a stop in Mexico, where a mysterious assailant slipped him psychobilin while he fought jaguars, and in Shanghai, where his rope was mysteriously cut, though he was rescued at the last minute by Skyspider, a thrill-seeking urban explorer who had previously mentored him. He discovered that she had recently trained Minkoa Khan under the same fake name he'd used with Bruce, Anton. Suspecting Khan of attempting to kill him, Bruce pressed on, seeking out Dr. Daniel Capcio, an expert mentalist who was capable of complete conscious control over both his brain and body. While under his tutelage, Bruce was able to learn control over his body, but was unable to control his emotions. Interested, Daniel tested him with falsified photos of the people he cared for, murdered. At that moment, an injured Minkoa arrived at the door of Capcio's estate. Bruce accused Minkoa of both the murders and of previous attacks on Bruce himself in Rio de Janeiro, Mexico, and Shanghai. Minkoa had no idea what Bruce was talking about, and expressed regret at the deaths of Luca Jungo and Master Wabi. He revealed that he had been tracked and attacked as well, and had come to warn Bruce. Outside, Bruce confronted the mysterious assailant who had been tailing him across the world and who had attacked and grievously injured Minkoa, Harris Zuma, aka The Still, a renowned assassin in the employ of Ras Al Ghul. They fought on the cliffside as a storm struck, and Bruce was able to channel his fury and love, overtaking Zuma. Zuma revealed that the loved ones Bruce saw dead in the photos were still alive, and that his employer, the Demon's Head, was offering them an invitation to train with him in the Crystal Hills of Abu Dhabi. Bruce then confronted Dr. Capcio, realizing that he had doctored the photos that had enraged him so. After Minkoa recovered, the pair left Capcio's manor together, determined to seek out Ras Al Ghul. They eventually made their way to Ras Al Ghul's crystal fortress in the heart of the Rub al-Khali desert, accepting his tutelage. During this period, he was introduced to Ra's daughter, Talia Al Ghul, who assisted in the training of the pair. Raz told the pair that he intended to change the world using the principles of Lazarus, the supposed name of his organization, intending to build entirely self-sustained Lazarus cities. While training, despite his rejection of the Demon Head's principles, Al Ghul became very certain that Bruce would one day become the true heir to his ideals and organization. As such, he gifted him a small box, supposedly containing the eye of a god. Talia and Bruce became close during this time, but Bruce's distrust of her father's methods and goals resulted in the bond turning frosty. Towards the conclusion of their training, Raz revealed the truth of his intentions to Bruce and Minkoa, and made them duel for the right to replace Harris Zuma as second in command, the Demon's Hand. Bruce defeated Minkoa, and Raz allowed Zuma, Bruce's ostensible predecessor, to remain alive, requesting that he take the unconscious Minkoa Khan from the Crystal Hills. He then declared Bruce to be the Demon's Heart. Though Bruce did not remain with the organization, he recognized that their plans involved mass death, and planted explosives throughout the Crystal Hills, collapsing the structure. In the procès, he fought Raz, who defeated him. However, he was rescued by Minkoa, who dragged him out of the collapsing cave system. Despite this, they parted ways, swearing that Minkoa would never enter Gotham, and that Bruce would never enter any city Minkoa set up shop in. After 7 long years of absence, Bruce finally returned to Gotham at the age of 25. To formally end his training, Bruce climbed to the top of Wayne Tower and did a base jump off the top, resulting in a concussion, road rash, and a dislocated shoulder and elbow. Early heroic career. Batman Begins. With only his mission in mind and no care for his legacy as a Wayne, Bruce moved himself out of Wayne Manor and into a brownstone on Park Row, from which he based his early attempts to infiltrate the Red Hood gang after only 6 weeks back. Despite trying to remain off the grid, Bruce's uncle Philip Kane had kept tabs on him and had also gained control of Wayne Enterprises in Bruce's absence, hiring strategist Edward Nygma, who advised him to have Bruce killed if he wouldn't play ball. Philip outed Bruce's return to the media. When Bruce refused to return to the company while his uncle was selling weapons, Nygma advised Philip to have Bruce killed, and the Red Hood gang soon attempted just that by blowing up Bruce's brownstone with him inside. Injured, Bruce crawled back to Wayne Manor, where Alfred reaffirmed his support for him and bandaged his wounds. In the original New 52 continuity, Bruce decided to take on the appearance of a bat following this attack. However, following subsequent continuity changes, this was adjusted to align with previous continuities. During an early outing, while disguised as a veteran, Bruce encountered Selina Kyle on the streets of Gotham. At the time, she was operating as a prostitute. They came to blows, and Selina would later remember this as their first meeting, though Bruce would disagree for semantic reasons. During this outing, Bruce would be grievously injured, and was nursed back to health by Alfred yet again. Afterwards, he would decide to take on the guise of a bat, presenting the concept to Alfred the following morning. Alfred rejected it at first, but Bruce was persistent. Over the next few days, they assembled the suit, and on the following Saturday, Bruce made his first patrol as the Batman, attracting the attention of journalists, who chronicled what they knew of the mysterious vigilante in a front-page article in the Arkham Post the day after. Soon afterward, industrial tycoon David Lambert was murdered, and Bruce would investigate. This would become his first real investigation as Batman, an adventure he would later recall as the case of the Chemical Syndicate. Using the fact that his return was outed publicly to his advantage, Bruce called a press conference outside the ACE chemical plant to expose the Red Hood gang's plans to the media. The gang attempted to disrupt it, and inside the plant, Bruce used a blackout to debut the Batsuit. Through blackmail, Philip was recruited into the Red Hood gang, and when he failed to kill the Batman, he was shot dead. In fighting with Red Hood 1, Batman knocked the man into a vat of chemicals, and he was thought dead. The 0 year. Ater, Nygma returned to detonate an EMP blast that left the entire city in the dark. Commissioner Loeb declared the Batman a vigilante criminal as Bruce began investigating a series of murders committed by a disgruntled Wayne Tech employee, while building a jammer to prevent another EMP attack when power was restored. The ex-employee, Dr. Carl Helfern, was challenging enough that Batman allied himself begrudgingly with Jim Gordon, and together they learned that Helfern was the Riddler's pawn. Their plan to defeat both men failed, and the jammer was destroyed such that when the power was restored, the Riddler stole complete control of the power grid, shutting it down and flooding the city. In the following months, the city fell into ruin, with the Riddler nightly challenging the citizens to best him with a riddle in order to earn back civilization. Allying with Jim Gordon and Lucius Fox, Batman planned to locate the Riddler by piggybacking his signal during the challenge. The plan failed, but Batman managed to find the Riddler in the place they'd first met, and best him in a battle of wits, both restoring power and saving the city from an inevitable airstrike. Afterwards, Bruce and Lucius began rebuilding Wayne Enterprises. In the original New 52 continuity, Jim Gordon was then immediately advanced to the role of commissioner. However, following subsequent continuity changes, Jim Gordon remains captain as late as the Joker's debut. While the city was recovering from the Riddler's attack, Batman encountered the first Mr. Bloom, Daryl Gutierrez. Sometime later, Bruce began targeting the Falcone crime family. Powers and abilities. Abilities: acrobatics, archery, athletics, aviation, business management, chemistry. Bruce created a synthetic mineral, basically a new element, to weaken Wraith, that works very similar to that of green kryptonite. Computer hacking. Bruce was able to hack and record the mobile frequency of the Suicide Squad members' brain bombs and deactivate them. He can even hack into a Green Lantern ring and an Apocalyptian computer. Disguise. Bruce is a master of disguise, having been trained by Alfred. He was even able to impersonate Deathstroke. Driving. Eidetic memory. Bruce knows the Memory Palace technique, a strategy of memory enhancement that allows him to treat and store memories like a museum. He was taught this technique by Ra's al Ghul. He has the clothes his parents wore when they died memorized, down to the brand, type of nail polish, etc. Escapology. Equestrianism. Forensic pathology. Bruce is an expert forensic scientist. Criminology. Gadgetry. Genius-level intellect. Batman is considered one of the smartest beings on the planet, alongside Lex Luthor. Despite spending an infinite loop of battles or decades in other universes with no memory of his previous life, Bruce has shown capable of crafting all of his gadgets, weapons, vehicles, or a device that can siphon the Speed Force, all by himself. Despite him witnessing a language he doesn't understand, he's still capable of hacking into alien computer within seconds. Used a form of sign language alongside Snake Eyes that not even Fortnite's database could translate. Hypnosis. Indomitable will. Although he has no superhuman powers, Batman's unstoppable determination and strength will make him an extremely formidable opponent. This makes him able to function while tolerating massive amounts of physical pain. Interrogation. Intimidation. Batman is able to instill great fear into others. His ability to do this was so great, he was capable of wielding a yellow power ring. Sinestro even stated that he considered Batman a worthy member of the Sinestro Corps. Investigation. Hailed as the world's greatest detective, Batman has few equals when it comes to forensic investigations and solving crime mysteries. He is able to use even the smallest clues and slightest details to solve extremely difficult cases and accurately deduce the identity of unknown criminal masterminds. He is capable of observation, forensic investigation, and inductive and deductive reasoning of the highest caliber. Human intuition is an unlearnable trait and one of Batman's most effective tools. Given any mystery, he can arrive at the correct conclusions with a fraction of the data. As a child, Bruce began his first investigation when trying to solve the murder behind his parents and that it was the Court of Owls who were responsible. The truest testament to Batman's knowledge and effectiveness as a detective is that he had learned the Joker's true identity just 1 week after they first met. Lock picking. Bruce learned how to pick a lock when he was in grade school. He can pick handcuff locks in a few seconds, and can even pick a lock with his mouth. Martial arts. Batman is one of the finest martial artists in the world, having been trained by the best fighters around the world. By most accounts, it took Bruce 12 years to cross the globe, learning how to hit people, find people, and 1001 other skills before he could become the Bat. In turn, he has also been able to pass on his learnings to his many protégés. Batwoman was able to identify at least 14 different styles of martial arts from watching Batman fight. Bruce even learned a technique called language of combat, wherein he can communicate with others while fighting. Thanks to his years of martial arts training, Bruce can identify the martial art that his opponent uses against him and counter nearly any opponent. He is also capable of deducing when opponents are holding back in a fight. Batman has beaten many of the world's most skilled martial artists, such as Henry Fader, Red Robin, Ra's al Ghul, Red Hood, Frankenstein, Grifter, Nobody, the Talon, Beast, Lord Batman, Cheshire and the Batman Who Laughs. His skills are so great that he has stalemated the likes of Savior, Bronze Tiger, the Silencer, Snake Eyes, Ghostmaker, Deathstroke, the Foundation and even Lady Shiva. Batman has even fought blind before on several occasions. He's capable fighting against multiple Talons, while wounded and without any gear. He also fought in an endless war against an army of demons, alongside Wonder Woman for 37 years. After being sent to another universe, Batman spent for decades fighting and killing his opponents, as the Knight. Bruce has defeated the Peacekeeper, 01, who's capable of adapting and getting stronger over the course of a battle. Batman has defeated Red Robin, Red Hood, Spoiler and Nightwing while they were under mind control, but it took all of his energy to do it. According to Superman, he has seen Batman take on whole armies by himself. He also stated that Bruce's fighting style is indistinguishable from his pre-Flashpoint self. When Midnighter was being overwhelmed by Janin and Saif al Ghul, Batman saved him. Despite receiving a bloody beating, Bruce has shown capable of fighting and defeating a powerless Spawn after several minutes. Deathstroke acknowledges that Batman can kill him if he wanted to. Red Hood has admitted that he can't take Bruce in a fair fight and will never measure up to him or Nightwing. Even without any memory, Bruce has been forced to fight and survive an infinite loop of battles inside the 0 point, possessing incredible muscle memory, combat skill, and making him a very experienced combatant. He even managed to remember of all his experiences inside the loop without ripping his mind apart. Boxing. Bruce studied boxing during his time at Roxbury Fielding Academy. He was also trained in this fighting style by Wildcat. Bam Pow. Bruce has also trained in a unique fighting style that he invented to combat the Batman Who Laughs, which Alfred calls Bam Pow. Dim Mak. Batman is skilled in this ancient form of martial arts where you strike vital points of the opponent's body causing paralysis, intense and prolonged pain or death. He knows a two-finger nerve strike technique that, if not executed perfectly and with the precise amount of pressure, can easily kill someone. Ninjutsu. Karate. Krav Maga. Muay Thai. Taekwondo. Wrestling. While weary and suffering from blood loss, Bruce managed to wrestle with a bear. Stick fighting. Batman is skilled in multiple stick-based martial arts, having trained the Robins to use bow staffs. Medical science. Meditation. Multilingualism. Batman is fluent in Portuguese, Dari, Latin, Chinese, Greek, Icelandic, French, Gaelic, and Kryptonese. He can also understand American Sign Language and argot of the ancient sea people. Occultism. Batman hates magic, but has allowed himself to learn at least a few spells, as a contingency for Superman. He is knowledgeable enough on magic to be able to instantly identify it, stating he can feel the sensation of it. He knows a spell that can expel demons. He even knows a spell that allows him to summon a magical armor form that allows to challenge and beat the likes of Superman, Earth 42, Ultraman, Earth 3, and Bizarro, Earth 29. Peak human condition. Through intense training, a specialized diet, and biofeedback treatments, Batman represents the natural pinnacle of human physical prowess. His physical attributes roughly exceeded that of an Olympic-level athlete. His strength, speed, stamina, agility, reflexes, and coordination are at peak human perfection. He has spent his entire life in pursuit of physical perfection and has attained it through constant intensive training and determination. He can hold his breath underwater for 6 minutes. Due to his contact with Dionysium, Batman was healed from all trauma and scarring received throughout the years of crime fighting, enhancing his peak physical prowess to newer heights. Peak human strength. Batman's strength is at the peak of human potential, far beyond that of an ordinary human. He was able to break through a thin brick wall, and break a small motorcycle in half with a single kick. Bruce managed to pierce through the skull of an android just by throwing a coin at it, while unrestrained. When going all out, he and Nightwing destroyed the Batcave when fighting each other. He has shown being strong enough to endure and fight for several hours on Kandor, which has 5x the gravity of Earth. Bruce has been shown being strong enough to harm and defeat a giant mutated Cobra cult soldier, single-handedly. While being threatened by Lobo, Bruce was comfortable that he didn't need to hold back against Lobo and managed to cut off his finger with batarangs. When unrestrained, Batman has shown capable of beating back nearly a dozen deformed rotting Gotham and Gotham Girl clones, alongside the Flash, to a stalemate. He can yank a speeding Ferrari into the air with the use of his grappling gun. Peak human agility. Peak human durability. Peak human reflexes. Peak human speed. Batman's speed is at the peak of human potential, far beyond that of an ordinary human. Batman's so fast that his punches and kicks are blurs in combat. Considered faster than his pre-Flashpoint self by Superman, due to his youth. Bruce is fast enough to tag and destroy an Amazo Flash, and even land a few blows on Reverse Flash. Alongside the Flash, he was capable of tagging a number of rotting Gotham and Gotham Girl clones, for a while. Peak human senses. Throughout Batman's years of fighting crime and intense training, his senses became so heightened that he can identify magic by feeling it, detect invisible objects, and can even see spirits like Deadman, who remain unseen by normal people. Batman has the best senses in the entire Batman family, as he was the only one capable of sensing Nightwing's presence when Batgirl, Red Hood, Red Robin, and Alfred Pennyworth couldn't. Not even Orphan was capable of sneaking up on Batman, without him knowing. Bruce even managed to sense the likes of the Flash, approaching behind him at super speed. Peak human stamina. Thanks to Bruce's training and experience, his stamina and endurance has allowed him to fight for 28 hours straight when he was first starting out. Fighting for days on end with the Justice League of America. Has been deprived of sleep for a week straight, while being drugged in the process, by Deacon Blackfire's servants, yet he still remained strong. Became trapped into the Court of Owls labyrinth and went without sleep and food for 8 days straight and still managed to fight and escape. He even underwent and survived the Thogal ritual, where he spent 7 weeks in cave while undergoing a dangerous type of meditation in order to simulate an experience of death and rebirth. He has endured Kandor's gravity for several hours, which is 5x that of Earth's. Bruce has also shown being able to continue to fight, protect, and provide for Gotham for 46 days straight, with hardly any rest, along with suffering 2 broken ribs during the process. Toxic immunity. Bruce has acclimated himself to most toxins and poisons. Precognition. After receiving training from a Mongolian pastoralist, Bruce learned how to read the environment, to feel the subtle shifts in the earth, in temperatures, and the changing in the wind. He has even had a prophetic dream vision of the future, if Damian ever became Batman. Leadership. Bruce has experienced leading the Justice League, the Outsiders, and the Bat family. Pedagogy. Bruce has trained multiple members of the Bat family in a wide variety of subjects, including martial arts and investigation. Prestidigitation. Bruce was taught sleight of hand by Giovanni Zatara. Robotic engineering. Batman created the android failsafe. Seamanship. Stealth. Bruce managed to place several explosives around Malara's father's ship without his knowledge, that not even Lobo was capable of noticing. Swimming. Tactical analysis. Tracking. Ventriloquism. Weaponry. Demolitions. Firearms. Despite his opposition to the use of firearms, Bruce is one of the world's top 10 marksmen. Fencing. Bruce studied fencing during his time at Roxbury Fielding Academy. Swordsmanship. Throwing. Batman is a master marksman, capable of throwing his batarangs with immense precision. Paraphernalia. Equipment. Batsuit. The costume Batman wears is composed of Kevlar and a small percentage of titanium. It's bulletproof and resistant to various types of attack, explosions, impacts, falls, among others. It is also flame retardant and insulated. The gloves and the boots are reinforced to rebound the impact of punches and kicks. The gloves have some metallic blades on their sides. The cape is super light, and it can be used to glide. The mask has a small percentage of lead, which shields Batman's face from X-ray powers or X-ray technology, and incorporates an infrared and night vision viewer, auditory sensors, and a sonar. The mask is accessorized with some security systems, aggravating gas, electric blasts, etc., like the utility belt, and also integrates an audio and video transmitter receiver device. The Batsuit can withstand temperatures of atmospheric re-entry, 1,477 degrees Celsius per 2,691 degrees Fahrenheit, and can absorb energy and redirect it back at his opponents. Utility belt. Batman keeps most of his personal field equipment in a signature piece of apparel, a yellow utility belt. The utility belt has a button to call the Batmobile, and a command for teleportation. Over the years it has contained items such as plastic explosives, nerve toxins, batarangs, smoke bombs, a fingerprint kit, a cutting tool, a grappling hook gun, torches, and a rebreather breathing device. Superman entrusted Batman with a ring made of kryptonite, to be used should the Man of Steel ever need to be reined in, due to being mind-controlled by a villain, etc. The kryptonite ring is contained in a lead pocket, in order to shield Batman from its radiations. Along with a portable EMP, the belt also has its own automatic security systems preventing outside users from accessing it. It has been counted that 42 sets of items covers at least 30% of how much the utility belt can carry, meaning that the average belt can carry at least 140 sets of items. Batman's regalia is capable of affecting the Foundation's technology to an extent, disrupting it for a while. Hellbat. Making its first appearance in Batman and Robin Volume 2 Issue 33, this suit is one of the 3 most powerful suits that Batman has ever used. Made for the battle, for the most extreme situations, due to Batman not having powers of his own. Although he couldn't originally access this suit by himself, without the permission from the rest of the Justice League. Batman now has full access to the suit and can summon it to him whenever he wants. Powerful enough to contend with a demon that was capable of containing Etrigan, beat down Caliban and even stalemate Darkseid. Batcomputer, the central focus of all of Batman's computer-based technology, wired into nearly all of Batman's equipment. Built and manufactured by Batman, Alfred Pennyworth, and Lucius Fox. It even possesses security protocols so that only Batman and members of the Bat family are allowed to use it. The Batcomputer is capable of initiating commands that involve hacking, scanning, solving, storing and processing any information that Batman or the Batman family desires. Holding a plethora of cryptic data and information that even someone like Amanda Waller would find valuable. The communication connection and transitional frequencies can span up to 3,137 million light-years. Bruce has even expanded its processing power and other capabilities by adapting a bot root code known as the Genie AI into it, including a mother box. It can even detect supernatural forces, such as magic energy. Genie AI. EMP Mask. Batman carries EM tech that he can use as holographic disguise to morph his face to even his entire body. Magic Gauntlets. Batman was gifted a pair of magical gauntlets by John Constantine, which allow him to fight non-corporeal beings hand-to-hand, as he did with Gentleman Ghost. Constantine won the gloves in a card game with a demon, and gave them to Batman because he doesn't like fighting with his hands. Black Lantern Ring, formerly. Helmet of Fate, formerly. Magic. Eldritch Blast. Flight. Teleportation. Mobius chair, formerly. Transportation. Bat-boat. Bat-cycle. Batmobile. Bat-plane. Bat-copter. Weapons. Batarangs, his main set of weapons. Some of these bat-shaped blades are electrically or sonically charged, while others are explosive. He even carries batarangs that are made of nth metal that can disrupt the presence of ghostly entities, magical creatures, and even break enchantments. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.